Inequity and startup funding. I will just go ahead and throw that bomb.
You're
right
gonna have
there.
to come back for another
now?
episode. I know there's gonna be a whole new episode on that.
We need to talk about it because again, so one of my favorite things. I gave a talk at GDC about this. Have y'all read this book called The Color of Wealth?
It just came out. It just delivered to my house last week.
I love that book. I made a whole GDC talk about the tax code and video games and systemic racism. Like I was in that book just like everything in this, because again, there are so many things that are set up for us to fail in this society, in this economy. And one of the big ones is that startup equity. And I was talking to so I'm in this fund. It's a big video games fund. It's a bunch of successful companies and people have exited and done all this stuff. And there are, I think 3 entrepreneurs of color in the fund. Now there's more because they have fund 2, so they've added more folks. But in our original cohort, there were 3 of us, and there's only 1 other black person. So like Mitchell kept being like, "You got to meet Alan." I'm like, "Who's Alan?" She was like, "You're going to know who Alan is. You got to meet Alan." I was like, "Who's Alan?" The other black person. He was like, "Fred." Like again, like we're not. There's not enough of us. Yeah. And so we were talking, and we realized that we're here, we're in the room, but we raised the least. We got the smallest amounts on the cap table. We got the most people on the cap table. Because when you go to black celebrities, black investors, the folks that you would, black angels, the checks are smaller. They're 5K, 10K, 15K, 20K. Right. We are doing a lot with our money. And when we have it, we are doing a ton. And so it's smaller. So then what happens is like, white investors, that's too many people on your cap table for the stage. I'm like, bro, this is who came. This is who showed up. This is what we have to do. And so we're sitting there and we're talking about like the lack of data. So I go on my rant about how data is not neutral. And I go on my rant because also people always try to check me because they're like, "Oh yeah, whatever, AI." And I'm like, okay, don't make me take off my earrings now, right? I don't flex on people like that, but bitch, I have deployed a neural network. I got a certificate from NVIDIA. Like you're not gonna tell me about the shit I use. Right. You're also not gonna tell me about something that's built on the back of racist tech. So if you're scraping 4chan and you're scraping Reddit, you're getting a bunch of racist stuff that you're putting into ChatGPT for these outlooks. So what are you actually building? It's not gonna give me anything that is worth using for me. It's not gonna give me faces that look like mine because it's not trained on that. But we're gonna leave that for another day. But when we look at the inequity of funding, it means that black entrepreneurs have less runway. We have less time to fail and pivot. We have less time to make mistakes. Like when I look at what we've created a glow up on our 1.3 million raise, right? And I mean, we've made revenue, we've done other things to keep stuff going, but we have literally been making $1 out of 15 cents the whole time we've been doing this.